a movie. We're talking about the actual government files. Now, all of a sudden, MAGA's not interested. MAGA doesn't want to talk about it. It's boring and everything else. So how about just a little spice? Just a little spice before we start this off. All right. So understand, we are going now into the files. I'm going to do my best here. Some of this is going to be small for your viewing here. It's going to be small. So I'm going to read as much of this as I possibly can. We will do the best documentary style presentation here. I'll tell you who's sending the emails, who's sending the emails, receiving the emails. And if it's redacted, we'll mention it's redacted. There is still a large listening audience to this show. So I'm just going to do my best for straight up documenting purposes here with about 50 or 60 files that I have on my desk. I think that these are the most disturbing or interesting. There's still obviously a lot more out there that I'm not covering. It's just a matter of, do I want to spend 10 hours reading this stuff, or do we want to condense it into the normal show? So without further ado, let's go ahead and just dive in. And there's no real rhyme or reason to this, guys. I've pretty much just compiled some of the most interesting stuff to me, some of the most disturbing stuff to me, and put it on my desk here for the show today. Okay? So that's what we are doing. And let's just get right into it, guys. So here we go. This is an email from Jeffrey E. I believe the understanding here is that this email, jeevacation@gmail.com, is obviously Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're assuming. I don't think I need to bother reading the dates of all of this stuff. They could be significant when it comes to other news headlines and developments, but I'm not compiling it like that. So we're really just going to look on who's sending it, who's receiving it, the subject, and then the materials of each email. So this is for documenting purposes here. So from Jeffrey E. to Richard Kahn, subject blank. The question I have is, imagine he releases fake emails that purport to show really bad stuff, but that his team crafted and they get out in the media. What a trick could be played. Well, of course, nobody's claiming that these emails are fake. These are officially from the Justice Department's website. But what it appears they're talking about here, as you'll see they get on, is the WikiLeaks emails that came out before the 2016 election, which led us to Pizzagate. And so the dates would line up with that. Assange next WikiLeaks batch will lead to Hillary Clinton's arrest. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange said Sunday that the next batch of hacked emails he plans to release will lead to the arrest of Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. 2 days ago, the FBI reopened the investigation into her private server as Secretary of State, knocking her campaign sideways after releasing 21 email batches this month. Assange has more than 50,000 to go, with enough evidence to see Hillary Clinton arrested. Now, you may recall Trump said if he was president, she'd be in jail. She's not. Hillary and Bill are both being held in contempt of Congress today, and the Oversight Committee is again threatening them with a strongly worded letter. But nonetheless, this is referring to the WikiLeaks emails, the Podesta emails, the DCCC emails that began Pizzagate with all the coded language, the spirit cookings, the kids in the hot tub for the entertainment, the $65,000 hot dogs for Barack Obama, and so on and so forth. So we do see a lot of similarities in this Epstein drop as we saw from the original Hillary Clinton emails in 2016. A lot of that. So you will see a lot of similar language here. This is from Roy Hodges to Jeffrey Epstein. I wanted to let you know that the crew really appreciated the pizza today. Thank you for letting us do this, Roy and Stephanie Hodges. Now, there's a lot of people that you're going to hear a lot of pizza. You're going to hear a lot of pizza talk today. And this is maybe like 10% of the pizza talk that's in these new Epstein files. I see a lot of people trying to cast this off and say, oh, they're just talking about pizza. Please, you can't be that naive.
Like, bro.
You cannot be that naive. And so if you're trying to say that this is normal and that you think they're actually just talking about pizza, you're either a dishonest person or you're intentionally blinding yourself from the truth because the truth is just so nasty and you're not ready to handle it. How many emails do you think you're sending back and forth with friends talking about how much you love pizza and the different context in which they use pizza, much of it not even making any sense? If you go through your emails and you look for pizza, it's probably just going to be maybe a receipt from a pizza that you ordered online. So let's not play this game. Oh, they're just talking about pizza. Please. Everybody knows the FBI, the CIA, these investigative bureaucracies, they all know that this is code language. So let's not play that game. And I see a lot of people trying to play that game. We're not going to play that game. So there's one for pizza. Here's another one. From redacted to Jeffrey E. Subject, the pizza monster. You mean a radiating soft glow with the look of bliss and excitement? That's the pizza. That's the pizza we're talking about.
Does it ever have a radiating glow?
A radiating soft glow. The look of bliss and excitement. That's the pizza. The pizza monster. This is from G-Max. We can only assume this is Ghislaine Maxwell. They've redacted the email. G-Max, there's a lot of G-Max emails here too. This is what we're assuming is another Jeffrey Epstein email. To give a little context, let's look at the first email here. I watched them all. Please don't send any more. This is to blank from Jeffrey Epstein. So Jeffrey Epstein sending subject, you have received a flip video to redacted. And then somebody has this video. But obviously this is just a screenshot of a document here.
Yeah.
Video length, video 44.
And if you don't know, there was videos released of Jeffrey Epstein chasing like two little girls around in the kitchen. Now, of course, when they released the videos, you know, they had the girls' faces redacted, but Jeffrey Epstein was chasing two little girls around in the kitchen, and we perceived them to be victims.
Length 1:06. Well, whatever's in this video, one of the replies here is, sorry, I have no stomach for even the slightest aggro. I don't have the stomach for it or any drama, imaginary or real. I'm still fragile off the last one and scared of shadows. So what type of video are you sending here?
Yeah.
That has somebody so fragile they can't even watch it. They're still scared from the last one.
Bro.
What type of video could we be talking about? All right. Here's an email to J.E. Vacation from Peggy Seagal. Title, Kenya. Let's go to the most significant part here. Coming to PB to see you in January, taking photos. We'll have a ball and think of you all the time. Can bring a little baby back for you or two.
Wait, what?
Boys or girls. So Madonna. We'll email when we get to Amsterdam. What do you make of that? Can bring a little baby back for you or two. Seems to insinuate something pretty dark there, doesn't it? This is a letter, Jeffrey Epstein, President, Southern Trust Company, letter of agreement. Dear Jeffrey, you, on behalf of the Southern Trust Company, Inc., a Virgin Islands corporation, have been collaborating with Ariane de Rothschild on behalf of Edmund de Rothschild Holding, S.A., collectively the Rothschild Group, regarding risk analysis, Rothschild Group and the application and use of certain algorithms with respect to the same. The work, STC shall provide the work as further
and a message from Peggy Segal. I believe this is who we're talking about. An American publicist. I mean, she's even here, 2018 publicist Peggy Segal to Jeffrey Epstein, referencing Timothy. Yeah, so it does look like she does have a bit of a history here. And remember, Peggy Segal was the one that, that was talking about I got some babies here. Which one? One, two. Ugh. But yeah, as an American entertainment publicist who advertises new film releases to an audience of media providers and critics, she owns the Peggy Segal Company based in Manhattan. I mean, yeah, that's somewhere where Jeffrey Epstein will frequently visit. I think he has a house out there. Actually, I'm pretty sure he has a place out there. So yeah, this is the Peggy Segal they're talking about. All right there. And don't worry, guys, I'm looking up names as well.
Specified agreement between Jeffrey Epstein and Ariane de Rothschild. From time to time, while this agreement remains in effect, fees and expenses in consideration for the work, the Rothschild Group shall pay the following to STC, and it says $25 million. Payment shall be made to the Rothschild Group STC by not later than 3 days after EDRH makes payments to the U.S. So this is one of many indicators that Epstein was very close business partners with the Rothschild family. Now, there's also a lot of themes dealing with goy, and this is a word that many of you probably hadn't even heard of till recently. We'll document this now. We'll come back to this subject, but you're going to hear this trend a couple of times here as we're documenting these files. From Jeffrey Epstein to Roger Schenck, this is the way the Jew make money and made a fortune in the past 10 years. Selling short the shipping futures. Let the Goyim deal in the real world.
Wow.
From shipping news, the most dramatic growth has been in shipping futures, which allow shipping companies to lay off risks. The most popular futures are forward and freight agreements to deliver goods to a particular route at some point in the future. So it just goes on. They're talking about trade routes. They're talking about trade. But obviously, the most interesting thing here is at the beginning, from Jeffrey Epstein to Roger Schenck, this is the way the Jew make money and have made a fortune in the past 10 years, selling short the shipping futures. Let the Goyim deal in the real world. Now, this, you have to wonder how this ties into everything that Trump is doing as far as trade routes and trade is concerned, and why he's trying to secure trade routes in the Middle East, why he's trying to secure trade routes with Greenland. I don't think that this is insignificant email when we are considering those current developments. So this is a FBI file. You can see the case ID, everything else. Epstein, Jeffrey, child sex trafficking. This is from 2019. Still a lot of redactions here, so we work our way through them. Called the FBI redacted, called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to identify herself as a victim.
All right, before we get into that, I do want to get into this Roger Shanks guy. So Roger Shanks, he died actually 1946 to 2023, was a prominent American artificial intelligence theorist, cognitive psychologist, and learning specialist who was among the many scientists and academics associated with Jeffrey Epstein. So, yeah, associated with Epstein. In 2008, New York Magazine article, Shanks, then a professor at Northwestern University, was identified as part of an eccentric cast of characters visiting Epstein while the financier was serving time in Florida jail. Oh. Ew. Okay. And this guy right here, this is who we're talking about. This guy. Yeah, Roger Shanks. This guy right here. Showing faces and bringing up names, man. That's what we do out here.
Of sex abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and others, redacted, provide the following information. Approximately in 1994, redacted revealed herself to redacted as a past victim of sex abuse by Epstein. Redacted described the abuse occurred during parties. Redacted further identified redacted as a friend of redacted. In approximately 1996, Redacted resided with Redacted in Redacted. An unknown man abducted Redacted from her home when she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, formerly known as Jay-Z, while Weinstein had inserted his...
Whoa, guys, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video. And also, if you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, please super chat it in. I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it.
Of Redacted, Epstein. Redacted described the abuse occurred during parties. Redacted further identified Redacted as a friend of Redacted. In approximately 1996, Redacted resided with Redacted in Redacted. An unknown man abducted Redacted from her home when she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, formerly known as Jay-Z, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers into Redacted. Redacted believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. And of course, if you know, the Epstein mansion in Florida is really where this whole...
So basically, Harvey Weinstein, I mean, a high up there movie exec at that time. Then you got Sean Carter, basically a movie exec and well, I'm gonna be real with you, a legendary rapper. And with Epstein in a mansion? Wait, what? Like, yo, okay, this is why everybody's calling Jay-Z a pedo all over social media, and he's been unfollowed like by millions. Because I mean, bro, what is your excuse? You was in a house with Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein with an unconscious girl. I mean, do you want to defend yourself just a little bit?
Case kind of started to unravel with all the victims there, and that's ultimately what landed him up in prison originally. Again, you know, we're barely even into this, folks. This is pretty significant stuff, I think it's fair to say. How you can ignore this if you're a member of the political media, I just don't know. I really don't.
I don't get it either.
From Daphne Wallace to...
Oh, and shout out to Trump Bunny 24 for sending the 200. Oh, yeah, for sending the 200 joules. The torch. Appreciate it. I'll keep on carrying on.
Jeffrey Epstein. Subject: may I bring in your slice of pizza to you? Respectfully, Daphne.
Oh, God.
Now, do you think they're talking about pizza? Do you think they're emailing about pizza, guys, and bringing a slice of pizza in for you? Somehow I doubt it. Another one. Now, this one, both to and from, is redacted. Both to and from. Alert, send pizza to Bobby.
Ooh, who Bobby?
That's all we have in that image. Subject, alert, send pizza to Bobby. Both the sender and receiver have been redacted. Do you still think they're talking about pizza? From redacted to redacted. Subject, interview of purported Epstein victim. So the senders, receivers of this still redacted here. Thanks. I didn't realize Bush raped him too.
Whoa.
Okay. People are obviously assuming that this Bush mentioned in the email is the political family.
Yeah.
I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on his yacht, he witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. I'm sorry about this, guys. Some of this stuff is graphic. I do apologize. I should have...
Whoa! African Americans having basically they force a bunch of African guys to grape young women, young virgin white women. That's basically what he's saying. Like at the gist of it, like, bro. But hey, man, we here for it.
African American.
I mean, this is what we wanted, right? This is what we wanted, so we're gonna listen to it.
Points disclosed by the purported victim. While on his yacht, he witnessed African American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. I'm sorry about this, guys. Some of this stuff is graphic. I do apologize. I should have given you a prior warning. Again, this is from the files. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar but left no scarring.
What?
On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their
What?
intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from the intestines. He was also raped by George Bush 1. Victim
What?
disclosed he was escorted to the FBI building by Michael Moore, who is the creator of True Pundit, described by multiple online sources as a conspiracy-driven news website that attempts to paint the FBI in a bad light. Moore has a criminal record as a result of an FBI investigation. Copyright infringement. Let me know if you want to discuss the former FBI agent that called this to the head office. Thanks. So as you see, most the detective for the NYPD has been redacted here. The only indication of any name we get is right here, this email address. I'm not sure why they left this up, but this email address is connected to some other reveals when it comes to this type of let's say accusations. Now, again, this is for documentary purposes. We're not making any accusations or suggesting anything. We are simply reading from the files. But obviously, that is one of the more gruesome ones that we've seen. And I'm guessing with the New York Police Department, ultimately some of the Epstein case files did end up in New York. And that's also where the Anthony Weiner laptop ended up. I'm not sure these two things are connected, but I figured for the purpose of just putting that on the record so you get a better idea. Here we have, again, an email from Redacted to Redacted. Subject: interview of purported Epstein victim. Myself and S.A., and this is where they're redacting, I'm assuming, the investigators here, the law enforcement in the case, conducted an interview of a purported victim of Jeffrey Epstein as per referral by the FBI SA Redacted and journalist Michael Moore, not the filmmaker. Results are as follows. At 1200 hours, a male identified as one Redacted arrived at the C20 office. Redacted stated he was unemployed and resides with his mother and her unemployed, morbidly obese boyfriend. Redacted stated he has ingested hallucinogenic mushrooms as well as other illicit substances in the past and currently smokes marijuana. Redacted reported being raped, sodomized by his great uncle since the age of 5-year-old until 22. Redacted described meeting Epstein at a yacht club in Redacted, and it looks like that's a state, likely Florida. Of his relatives were members first at age 5 and later at age 8. Redacted states he was sodomized by Epstein in 2000 on a large yacht. 9 out of Redacted, as well as by former U.S. President William J. Clinton. Redacted states also current President Trump alongside his wife Melania were present during the said yacht trip in 2000. Trump not married to his current spouse Melania till 2005. Redacted reports while being raped by Epstein and Clinton, he was in a heavy drug-induced state. Redacted stated all of the above incidents were recovered repressed memories until he began therapy sometime in 2016 approximately. Redacted offered no supporting or corroborating evidence or witnesses that could be contacted. Redacted appeared to be...
I'm not gonna lie, you got to bring in Clinton and Trump on that story. Maybe, and here's the problem with this story. As you heard, the guy who's told this has a history of abusing drugs. So they already might chalk this up to mentally unstable. But yeah, this implicates Bush. I mean, no, this implicates Clinton and Trump at the same time on the same yacht.
Emotionally unbalanced and not intoxicated. At this time, it is not recommended that any additional investigative resources be expanded concerning Redacted's claim. So it sounds like they didn't trust the said victim.
Obviously, I mean, think about it. They started off with the whole, oh, he does psychedelic mushrooms and he smoked weed, and this is why it's going to be hard to, hear his story out. But his story is pretty wild, though, to sit there and put Clinton and Trump on the same yacht with Epstein while, grape is going on. It's crazy.
To Redacted from Jeffrey Epstein. Question for you. I think pedophile is the plural. So actually, you really want to start down here. From Jeffrey Epstein to Redacted. Question for you. Paris with Woody Allen. Sorry for all the typos. For lay pedophile convention, I think pedophilie is the plural. So that was the final message here sent to Epstein.
Okay.
We're talking about pedophile conventions in these emails. To Valston Contrin from Leslie Groff. Thank you for the pizza today. Really good. XO, Leslie. And you can see this is in French here.
Hey, shout out to Tove on Rumble. She says, "Hey, Suge, it's Tove. How much longer are you going to be on? And C, you should have let me and a paramedic on. You should have let me and be paramedic today. Also, the TDS crash outs are insane today. I mean, their words finally match their actions. Shout out Tove from on Rumble, guys. Like I said, you can go on Rumble and also watch the stream as well. I would suggest you to watch it on the horizontal or on Rumble because you get a really good visual on it." And then shout out because Tove coming in again would have been perfectly content with the actions done being left out or redacted, or a list of who possible charges and how many victims and ages. Here's the crazy thing. I mean, look, they're protecting the victims. I mean, they're protecting these pedophiles more than they're protecting the victims. I'm like, I kind of want to know who sent those crazy ass messages. I think that's really important. I think we all want to know who are sending these type of messages because this is crazy. But shout out Tove and appreciate the support on Rumble.
Some more French here. Subject: your pizza is yummy, yummy. There was a lot of French symbolism, let's say, dealing with Pizzagate in 2016 as well. A lot of it. Pretty damning stuff. From Leslie Groff to redacted. FYI, I will let you know what he says come Saturday or Sunday lunch, Little St. James on the map behind Christmas Cove. Now, this is one that has included Howard Lutnick on it. Now, he claimed, I believe, he had stopped communications with Epstein in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. From Howard Lutnick to redacted. Hi, Jeff. So his name is Jeff, who's ever he's sending this to, but they redacted this. We are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday afternoon and planning to head over to St. Bart's Anguillina on Monday at some point. Where are you located? What is exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? I have another couple, Michael and Marcy Lehrman, with me on my boat, and each of us has 4 children, 2 16s, 2 14s, a 13, a 12, an 11, and a 7. Thanks, Howard. This is an FBI electronic communication document. Title: lead forwarded to Legat, Mexico City. Approved by redacted, drafted by redacted, contact redacted, synopsis. This lead was generated to follow up on information that a USC, Richard Marchenko, is in custody in Mexico regarding a child sex ring investigation. The Mexican authorities, that is purported to include video evidence held by Mexican law enforcement officials of Jeffrey Epstein engaging in sex acts with minors. The said minors were reported as possible USCs. Enclosure the following items: TLO reports, DMV image of Turner, DMV image of Marquino. Details: the author received information while assigned to a bureau hotline concerning the Jeffrey Epstein investigation that video evidence of Epstein engaging in sex acts with minor children is in evidence in Mexico City. The caller identified himself as Kenneth Darrell Turner. Now, I think I actually don't have, there's a follow-up file that talks about in another email, and I'm not sure if it's related to this case, but I don't think it made my final stack today, that said they had a case, a child kidnapping case, a child sex abuse case in Mexico, and somebody killed the judge.
Damn.
So again, whether or not these things are connected,
that's bull.
I can't say, but that was another thing that we found in Mexico City in these files, both dealing with potential child sex trafficking. From Jeffrey E. to E.H. Barak, subject, slicing a pizza. So people are obviously assuming that this is former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. Originally, this email down here with nothing in it, but the subject, slicing a pizza, from Yadin Dudai. And then the rest is redacted here. Funny, equivalent to people that feel that on leap year, they get an extra day. Subject, slicing a pizza. Do you still think?
No, that's so true, Trump Bunny. That is true. He's like, they're saying when the conversation gets too real, the TDS runs. Literally, when you're proving their point wrong, or you're proving their lies about Trump or lies about the economy wrong, they do tend to run. And then when you hear them read out the Epstein files, and they don't hear no damning evidence about Trump, they run. Ain't that crazy? And somebody said in the chat, like, yo, the only evidence of Trump beating the Epstein files is him being mentioned in conversation and within accusations that have not been corroborated yet, or have been proven to be a lie, to where Trump has an alibi for it. I mean, same thing with Elon as well.
They're talking about pizza.
But like I said, a lot of people don't really care about the Epstein files. They don't care about the fact that little kids are being trafficked. They care about, is Trump in it? Is Trump in it? I mean, let's be real. Okay, so if Trump isn't in it, you're just gonna stop caring about it? You're gonna stop caring about the fact that there are billionaires or millionaires that are pedophiles trafficking children around the world? They're like, and describing them like they're pizzas and Disney princesses. Like, that's cool with you? Because Trump's not involved. That's why. Like, crazy.
Slicing a pizza. Do you still think they're talking about pizza? Here's another unclassified FBI document, CHS reporting document. Let's go down here. Harry has been involved, has developed Trump's hotels, and is a billionaire. Harry, redacted, introduced him, her to the Indonesian CIA. Redacted, Harry, redacted, speaks Indonesian. Harry bought his Beverly Hills home from Trump at an inflated price. On redacted, was at Harry's house when Harry redacted that Trump told him that he was going to fuck Amazon over their military contracts.
Wow.
CHS advised that this was a real collusion story. Trump has been compromised by Israel, and Kushner is the real brains behind his organization and his presidency. Unclassified FBI document, and then you can see the tags for this document right here. FD 1023, official record, FBI.
Well, ain't the first time Trump's been accused for working for Israel.
From redacted to redacted. Subject, interview of purported Epstein victim. You know what? We already read this one, guys. I apologize. Let's move on. To Nellie Bowles. Now, that name might be significant. Again, this is for documentary purposes. So we're not going to make any assumptions or any accusations, but this name might be relevant as far as current events are concerned. To Nellie Bowles, from redacted. Subject, Jeffrey Epstein. We'll start at the beginning here. From Nellie Bowles, reporter, The New York Times.
Yeah.
Nellie Bowles, reporter.
And this is Nellie Bowles here. As you can see, Nellie Bowles, American journalist and satirist. I mean, yeah. MAGA curious CBS boss. Wife talks. Yeah, wow. Hours with Jesse. Yeah, talks boldly. Hours with Jeffrey Epstein. So, yeah, she was in contact with Jeffrey Epstein's. Let's see. Now, Bowles is an American journalist and satirist, being co-founder the Free Press with her spouse Barry Weiss. Oh, this is Barry Weiss's wife. This is Rice. Sorry, I'm kind of effing up the pronunciation of her last name, but this is her wife, the now owner of CBS. Yo, yo. Now that's interesting. That is interesting. Whoops, didn't mean to do all that now. I ain't that interested in the young lady or, well, middle-aged lady. All right, though, let's get back to it. But that's who this Nelly Knowles is. That's who she is. Or Nelly Bowles. But let's go back on that. Now that we know who she is.
Jeffrey Epstein, answer any assumptions or any documentary purposes. So we're not going to make any assumptions or any accusations, but this name might be relevant as far as current events are concerned. To Nelly Bowles from Redacted. Subject, Jeffrey Epstein. We'll start at the beginning here from Nelly Bowles, reporter.
Who's Barry Weiss's wife, by the way, who is the owner now or head person at CBS.
York Times. Nelly Bowles, reporter, the New York Times. Says Jeffrey Epstein's address. Please let me know. Thanks, redacted. Assistant to Jeffrey Epstein. So whoever this assistant was has been redacted here. Hello, Nelly. Jeffrey will be in New York tomorrow and Wednesday. Might you be around and available to come meet him? Masha believes you will both enjoy each other's company, perhaps Wednesday at 11 a.m. Totally normal stuff for business emails. Wednesday, 11 a.m. is perfect. I will be there. Good morning, Nelly. Reconfirming you will come see Jeffrey today at 11 a.m. Thanks, redacted. Thanks. Okay, so everybody's really happy. Nelly Bowles, Jeffrey Epstein having a rendezvous here in New York. And that New York Times reporter is, well, you can find out for yourself. From Jeffrey Epstein to Peggy Segal, yacht slut. No goyim in abundance. JP Morgan execs brilliant wasps. Now, this is a follow-up email. I may have the original one in front of this, but this is talking about how they wanted to have an event without any non-Jewish people, or that's who they're referring to as goyim. No, goyim.
Which all Jewish people don't think like this. Like, not all Jewish people sit there and look down on you because you're not Jewish and think that you're a goyim. No, they don't. There's a sect of Jews who do think like this, and it is what it is. But trust me, not all Jews think like this.
In abundance. So I guess there'll be a lot of non-Jews there. A lot of these goyim in abundance, they say. This was the original. Again, the same senders and recipients here. Yacht slut. Is it going to be 100% Jew night? Even Perlman and Yum Yum has some goyim. I am getting my media elite list FedExed out for Saturday and will email some names. What about Charlie Rose? Love him. What about Jane Fonda, my new best friend? Nothing like an ex-Jew hater with a Jewish boyfriend to mix it up. Peg. From Harry Fish to Jeffrey Epstein. No subject. Holy shit. Chunky. I forgot about that. What time do you want to get pizza and grape soda tomorrow? So more pizza here. From Redacted to Jeffrey Epstein Vacation Gmail, which, by the way, it appears that this email is now public forum and people are pouring through it now. So that's outside of the government documents. Here's the contents of this email. This is better than a Chinese cookie. See attached. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand. Go no. More communications here from the files. To the FCA, David Bowie, Seagrad, James Merce, Jennifer Friedman, Paul Castle. Redacted is a witness for you. Ask Jess Staley who Redacted is. Why is Redacted so important? Because she was and still is a long-term employee of the Epstein trafficking ring that is still running and being funded today.
Damn.
Date of this, February 2025.
What? Huh.
So, is the Epstein network still being ran?
Yeah. It's got a new guy.
Martin Nowak from Jeffrey Epstein. Did you torture her? Our spy was captured after completing her mission. Did you torture her? From redacted to redacted. Interview of purported Epstein victims. Okay, we also read this one already. That was one of the nastier ones. From redacted. This is some law enforcement in New York here. You can see what they left. So from redacted to a bunch of redacteds, probably all law enforcement. Subject, Ghislaine Maxwell. Let's go down here to the original one. Brian Miller is the only name that they left in these communications. Back in the 90s, Ghislaine Maxwell recruited a girl for a modeling career. Instead of modeling, she was sold as a sex slave and torture. Prince Andrew was an accessory to her death as he tortured her and me to force her murder. I need to get a passport to identify her. I will need someone to contact the passport office to get an expedited passport.
Ooh.
He called me wanting me to give him secure.
Nah. Prince Andrew is cooked. It's like, dog. So not only were you like messing with little girls, but you were torturing them too. Like, oh my god.
Email address he is from redacted. That number that came up is redacted. So a lot of this stuff that's ended up in the files are just
take him to jail.
Kind of like satellite accusations or satellite speculation, satellite law enforcement emails and stuff of different accusations and different names that have been brought up in these cases. We have more from the Rothschilds. From A.D. Rothschild to Jeffrey Epstein. Hi, Jeff. Very long day sitting on bank board. In beers are okay, but not satisfactory with me. And I'm putting them under pressure to be more innovative about asset management funds while restructuring. I'm in a dinner with a client, fed up. I miss our talks and hope you're well. We'll be at home tomorrow night. Will you be free? And let's discuss Ukraine. Ukraine upheaval should provide many opportunities. Wow.
Well.
So it looks like even this stuff, and you'll hear more about different foreign entanglements.
That's so crazy because it's crazy that we got child traffickers talking about Ukraine, and there has been child trafficking going on in Ukraine. And I know y'all not gonna like to hear this, but yeah, the children that Putin was getting in Ukraine, he was actually getting them from the child slavery or the child trafficking that was going on in Ukraine. Those were the children that Putin had. So Putin actually wasn't the one selling these kids into sex slavery. It was actually some devious people in Ukraine that was doing it. The soldiers would stumble upon it and they would take the kids and bring them back to Russia. This is the truth of the matter. It's kind of crazy how they're talking about Ukraine and how there's money that could be made. A bunch of child traffickers talking about Ukraine and how there's money to be made in it. In 2014, by the way. Crazy.
Uprisings and influence over them in these files. But it looks like even Ukraine, even the Epstein network had connections to Ukraine. To Jeffrey E. from Redacted, I give you permission to kill him. He is apparently with Redacted. He lied to you and he lied to me. Who's giving Jeffrey E. permission to kill him? Who is this? Redacted here. Probably significant. This is we had mentioned earlier some of the deals with the Rothschilds. Here's a letter of agreement. In fact, I think we did read this one. $25 million for services deal cut with the with Epstein and the Rothschilds. So we'll move on. We already read that. Here's some text messages that were revealed here. The blue were to understand as Epstein. Ukraine looking for advice. Not sure where to start. So we're back on Ukraine. Senator Larry Summers, whoever this might be, we just have a name. We can discuss Ukraine. I know a little, having been a number of times to Pinchuk Conference and having helped push their debt relief during Jaresko's time as FM. Zelensky looking for help. Putin dismissive, saying he's run by Israelis. So you consider the context of all of this. And this was not too soon before Zelensky would become president.
Hey, yo, and shout out Nurse Irving for sending the happy poo for 10 jewels. Appreciate the support, sis.
Zelensky looking for help. Putin dismissive, saying he's run by Israelis. So Putin was saying Zelensky was run by the Israelis before this latest incursion even happened.